What's going on, guys, and welcome to the Immortal Podcast, episode 10, where I'm here with my co-host, Nemo, and we're going to be talking about the latest, the greatest, and the things that everyone's thinking about regarding Diablo Immortal. Nemo, how you doing today, man? And welcome to everyone that's here, by the way.
Doing very well, Echo. Thanks so much. It's been I feel like it's been so long that we haven't had the podcast. I know it's only been like 2 weeks, but I feel like it's been a year. We have a lot to talk about, a really good agenda here. So I'm looking forward to speaking with you and everybody. What's going on? Good morning.
Yeah, it does seem like a while. It was 2 weeks ago. Remember, what we're doing here on the podcast is while we don't have the game in hand, we're going to come back at you guys every 2 weeks or every other week. Unless there's something kind of groundbreaking drops, then we'll obviously do an emergency episode. But right now, we're on a 2-week schedule. I want to remind you, we have a few topics that we want to discuss today, but a lot of this show is driven by you guys in the comments, in the chat, if on the Discord. So make sure you guys are active in the chat that's going on right over there on the side, because we are collecting your questions and bringing up those topics. The show is slated for 1 hour's time. It could go a little longer. It could go a little shorter. It all depends on you guys and what you bring. But Nemo, the other day, we noticed that in the unofficial Discord server, and I did put a video out on this, Wyatt dropped in a message that said, soon, trademark. Now, I put out this video about the soon trademark, and it's funny because everyone was kind of talking about, and they're like, when's Diablo Immortal coming, and all that stuff, the typical talk that everyone asks, and he came in with that soon trademark, and, you know, I saw that instantly. Record, start making a video. What's coming soon in Diablo Immortal? Will we see Diablo Immortal's next beta or whatever this month in March? And well, about an hour later, he put another message out saying that he was just joking. You know, it was just having fun. But even though that was said, it still made that topic come up to me. You know, we were in all these meetings. We know everything that's going on. We got Red October in the chat right now. He's actually the one who directed me towards the soon tweet. I think I even mentioned him in that video as well. It wasn't a tweet, it was a Discord message. But it brought up the topic to me. You know, when are we going to see this game? And well, I think that we are going to see it this month. I think we're going to be seeing something regarding Diablo Immortal. I think that we're going to either hear of or actually get our hands on another alpha or beta. I don't even know what they're calling it for the next phase, Nemo, but I think that we are going to be getting something next. What's up, Bluffin? I see a couple of my members over here in the house over on Twitch, and I see a bunch of you guys here on YouTube as well. Thank you guys so much for coming through. So what do you think, Nemo? I mean, this is all just prediction. This isn't anything really about much but prediction. Do you think that we're going to see anything this month? I mean, it's the 7th as of right now. There's 3 more weeks really in this month. Are we going to see another phase of beta or alpha?
That's a good question. It's a really hot one. A lot of people bringing this up right now. This is a tough one, but really, honestly, I do feel like it is coming this month because if you do the math here, right? If you listen to what Wyatt said, we both put out multiple videos and we have some, some direct quotes from him. He was saying that there were multiple phases coming. In fact, he's saying that there was more ahead of us, more testing ahead of us than behind us. So behind us, we had 2 tests. We had the family test that they did just for the employees, and then we had the test that we participated in. That's 2 tests. So if he's saying more ahead than behind, I'm going to be, I have a math minor, so I'm going to say that it's going to be at least 3. So we have 3 tests coming. We also heard that by the end of 2021, this year, it is going to be releasing fully globally. This is what they promised to the investors of the Q4 financial call. So if that's the case, then it's coming out in 2021. There's only so many months left for that. And we have 3 tests. If you really think about it, each test, he said, is going to be longer. That's what I believe Caleb said that. He said that those tests are going to be longer. So our test was 2.5 weeks. So, okay. So we're thinking, let's say at least 3 weeks. So at least 3 weeks, at least 3 tests. It's about 3 months, if you think about it, of some sort of testing at the minimum, we're going to say. And then in between those times, they're going to do patches. They're going to reload. They're going to fix things. They're going to fix and wipe, like Wyatt said. I asked him this, remember? In the interview, that we're going to lose progress to beta because they're going to be wiping stuff in between. That takes time. So, I mean, dude, we're running out of time. I mean, they're not going to release it in December. They have to release the game, in my opinion, earlier because they're going to want to make sure that when you go global on things, you're going to want to make sure that all of your employees are there in case things are happening, in case there are issues to fix things. You don't want to release it at Christmas when everybody is on vacation. So my long story short, my my long answer is I really do think it's coming this month. I honestly think we're going to see something this month.
I honestly hope so, Nemo. And I mean, we have 10 months left in this year, actually a little bit less than 10 months. So even assuming they drop it in December, which, as you're saying, is a bad idea, not the best thing that they should do. If they were to do that, I mean, we really have to have a new testing round every 3 months, right? Like it has to come every 3 months. That's going to take us, and that's going to even make it tight. It should be every 2 months if we want to get round 1, 2, 3 of testing, and then the actual release. That would be 2, 4, 6, 8. That would be basically 8 months of time it would take to get through all of that. Yeah, so I feel, and it's been, I mean, man, we haven't had the alpha for almost over 2 months. We're going on 2.5 months since we haven't actually played Diablo Immortal. I'll tell you what, man, it feels bad not playing. But with that being said, I know that on the Immortal podcast we talk about Diablo Immortal pretty exclusively, but I wanna go veer off for a second. Nemo hasn't put out a Diablo Immortal video in 1 week, and Nemo, why? What are you doing, man?
Wow, you talk about putting me on the spot. I love it. I love it. So yeah, I haven't put out a video in actually a little bit more than a week even. For several reasons. One is because I've been busy at work and getting stuff ready. I needed to take a couple of days to get myself straight with work because I do work full time as well. So sometimes it gets a little crazy. This week I did a lot of supporting. I work in a technical job. Long story short, I was really busy. But what I've also been doing, I've been playing a game called Valheim. Actually, I got into a game called. I started playing Valheim, and the next thing I know, weeks go by, hours go by. I mean, I don't sleep. I have close to, I have over 200 hours in Valheim, and I started playing like a week and a half ago. So that's what I've been doing, Echo. How about you?
Man, I mean, how much footage have you recorded? That's the question, Nemo, because I know content creators, you don't just play a game, you're recording footage as well. So how much footage do you actually have recorded, or none, really? Are you playing just for fun?
Well, I am playing for fun because the game is really awesome, right? It really does. I like survival games, like survival builder games. I never really was into Minecraft because I felt like it was a little rudimentary, and then when it comes to graphics, it was just a bit, I don't know, kiddish for me. I couldn't like ever connect with it, even though I like the game because it has a lot of depth in it. Valheim is a completely opposite story. Valheim was like exactly what I was looking for: better graphics, a lot of depth, and I mean, I'm a Viking warrior. I mean, how much better can it get, right? It's really cool. It has a lot of depth, and it consumed me. It really did. It's so much fun. So long story short, I've been recording all of it. I have close to 3 terabytes. I have like 12 terabytes of space on my computer. 1.2 terabytes is being held by Diablo Immortal and all of the alpha testing footage that I have, and I have 2.5 right now. 2.5 on Valheim. So I have 2.5 terabytes of Valheim recordings. So whatever you want, I got it.
Well, I want to see some videos soon, Nemo. By the way, we have Red October in the chat. Now, I know Red October's on top of all this stuff regarding Diablo Immortal. He said, in my opinion, they'll add one class and a zone in the first wave. And then he said, and then the second class and the rest of the gameplay may be PvP, potentially bad. I think they're going to do more than just one zone. Like, really, we got to level 45. There's only 3 more zones, right?
Yep.
So I think they're going to actually put out all 3 zones and one class.
100% agree. I actually asked this from Wyatt, and he didn't say it exactly, but the way he worded it was that there's the next test, or one of the tests, is going to be basically 45 through 60. It's going to be endgame. And then the other test is going to be Necro, and then another test we're going to have the Crusader.
All right. So, well, then what about PvP though, man?
So that's a good question. Is PvP coming separately? Is it coming after the game, like with the game releases? I'm not sure. Is it going to be another test? Because can we have 4 tests? Do we have enough time for that many? I don't know.
Well, they said, I mean, for some reason in my head, I have 3. Like that was the number they were talking about for testing.
They said more before than, so I'd say it's at least 3 because they said more than before. So
okay,
it could be more. It could be 4.
Now, Nemo, I want to transition a little bit here. I know that I didn't talk about what I've been doing lately, but I want to transition to this because the other day I was watching a friend of mine's video. His name is OJ. I think everyone knows him in mobile gaming. He did a sponsored video for Blade and Soul Revolution. Now I'm going to pop up the trailer for this right here. This is the one we run right there. Blade and Soul Revolution. And this is another one of those Netmarble type games. You know, the Japanimation style gameplay. I always like this. This is the stuff though that I think Diablo Immortal is better than. But there was something about Blade and Soul Revolution that I found very interesting, and that was that they said they're gonna have a guild war. I don't remember what it was called, but some type of a war. 500 players battling in one PvP arena. Now, if you know me, if you've been paying attention to anything that I've been saying over here, I've been saying that Diablo Immortal needs PvP, and they need it in big fashion. They don't need, you know, small PvP. They need to have war, right? So let me pop up some gameplay here so we can just kind of watch this go down. But they need some type of a war mechanic, and this game, Blade and Soul Revolution, is doing that. They're doing it with 500 player battles. So assuming you have, I don't know, 100 in a guild, 150 in a guild. I'm not even sure how the breakdown is going to be. You could have guild versus guild and some massive battles. So if Netmarble can do it, Blizzard can do it. Nemo, what do you think of this? Are these other games? We saw it in this one, and there was another one that had the Battle Royale in it as well. I forget the name of that game. It is one that I covered on the channel comparing it to Immortal, but we've seen action RPGs now with 500 player war and with Battle Royale. By the way, we got T McV in the house. What's up, Venom? Thanks for coming through the stream. So what do you think, man? I mean, the ability is here. It can be done.
Oh, 100%, right? So this is really exciting. The other game, but this particularly, the reason I like, when you send me I actually didn't see the video. You sent it to me, and I was like, oh, what is this? I started looking at the trailers, and I started looking into it. So 500 player, and it's literally like an arena, almost like a football arena, right? So you have people on one side, people on the other, and it's just madness in the middle. You did talk about that. That sounds like a really exciting mode. And it sounds like Diablo Immortal team has just been put to the challenge because look, it is possible. It is cool too. If you watch the trailer, like some of the stuff that you're showing here and on their website, I mean, it's amazing. We're talking like a 500 person battle. It's literally war. With this, it's martial arts, so they're using lots of melee and combat, and you're just watching people just go crazy. It's really like a lot of fun. So it seems to be possible, and I feel like it's possible in Immortal as well. I don't know. Did you hear Wyatt? He wasn't really. He did state that something is coming, right? Because you put this in the video as well, and they asked him, is the big player versus player war style thing coming? And he said yes.
Right.
So I wonder, is it going to be something like this? Because it is possible.
Well,
I don't know. What do you think?
What's up, Dread Scythe? I see you. Dread watching us on the big screen TV. I hope it's in 4K and gorgeous, my friend. Look at Nemo's luscious beard right here. You got to have that and watch the glisten. Got to have that glisten.
Like a Viking. I'm growing it.
But yeah, I mean, when we spoke to Wyatt, like, I want Diablo Immortal to have everything. I don't want it to leave anything out, personally. I want Blizzard to invest their entire Blizzard budget into Immortal, which isn't going to happen, of course. But, what's up, Madness? But, I don't know if they're going to do like a team deathmatch, if they're going to do a battle royale. I really don't know. I do know that those game modes would work in Diablo Immortal. I know that they would. Just being experienced in this space, I know that it would work on mobile. But I don't know if they want it to work on mobile. Hype to Los Manos right here for the membership on YouTube. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
But they did say that war was going to be a thing. So that's going to be exciting. If I had to choose any game mode, I mean, I love Team Deathmatch, man. I just love it. I think Battle Royale could work really well on Diablo Immortal because of the whole drop into the world with nothing and you have to earn your skills, earn your weapons, earn your gear. That's cool too. But war brings together that unity that you need with your alliance. And that's the big thing that everyone, that's what keeps like people invested in their guild, right? That makes it become that family, that community that Blizzard definitely has been mentioning over and over again that they want to see. So if I had to choose one, it would be the one that Wyatt said that they're going to be bringing, which is the war mechanic. After that, team deathmatch, battle royale, objective based, all that. But I mean, I want to see it all, but war is my favorite, and we have this game bringing it. So it can be done. I had questioned if the phones can handle it, if servers can handle it. The answer is yes, because it's here.
I agree. I agree 100%. You know, it's kind of interesting too. One thing that you point out, you said the team deathmatch and all the rest of the modes normally that you see PvP style. And I do feel like after we listened to the conversation that I had with multiple people and answering your questions in the videos that you've posted, as
Mm-hmm.
well as some of the stuff in my interviews, I feel like those modes aren't coming. Like the reaction that Wyatt gave when we were talking, like I feel like what you said is coming, some sort of like a big guild versus guild,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, a group activity that will encourage clanmates and guildmates to work together, because that is the longevity of a game. Like you said, Clash of Clans and a bunch of other games survive this way,
Right.
because you can play with other players together. So that's definitely coming. I don't feel like team deathmatch or something like that, like something that we normally see as a PvP, like in Call of Duty and a bunch of other games like that. I don't feel like that's coming. I feel like there's some sort of a other PvP. They haven't said it, but if you listen to his reaction and you listen to like the way he was super careful, the way he stepped around that question, and he was super careful in what he said and didn't say. So I feel like there are some modes coming that we don't know about, but I don't feel like it's going to be the general like team deathmatch type of stuff. I feel like big war and probably something else, something progression wise with the clan. I
Yeah.
feel like,
I'm
but we'll
pretty
see.
sure I'm pretty sure war is coming. Hey Nemo, would you mind jumping into the Twitch chat really quick? I think we're missing some messages. Wolfman um said something and I
Sure.
must have missed it. I was over in the YouTube chat. Sometimes guys, it's hard to keep up with chat on two different platforms and talk and be in charge of the gameplay and stuff. So we definitely don't miss any questions, and I'm not scared to tackle even the hardest of questions. So definitely don't, it's nothing
I
worth
will go and look.
taking offense to. So Nemo, and as I have you looking for that question, someone did mention in the chat, do I expect my YouTube channel to explode when Diablo Immortal comes out? I mean, I hope it does. That would be good. I mean, I'm a full-time content creator. This is what I do. This is how I make my living, right? Kids, house, family, everything is supported from videos on YouTube. And remember, this is my second YouTube channel. My main is a strategy mobile gaming channel. It was really focused on Clash of Clans heavily, and now I'm transitioning into another game, or actually two games, called Infinity Kingdom, which is incredible. I'm addicted to it. Totally different from Diablo Immortal, but I've been playing it a ton. Go check it out over there if you want to see that. And also State of Survival, which is another war strategy game. Both do have those pay-to-win elements pretty heavy. So it is that kind of a game. We're not afraid to admit that, but I've really been enjoying them. But Nemo, did you get to see the question that was over there? What's up, Clash Bashing in the house? What's up, man? How you doing? All right, Nemo.
That's not bad. Yeah. So no, actually, they were just wondering why we were talking about other games.
Hmm,
They just jumped onto the chat. They didn't
gotcha.
hear it. We were just saying what we were playing while we were waiting for Diablo Immortal. While it hurts, while our souls are bleeding and waiting to get the game back into our hands, which hopefully is sometime this month. But yeah, there was no questions there.
Yeah, okay, got you. Yeah, but I mean, the reason why we were looking at that other game specifically was because of the war game mode that they're bringing out, which is a 500 player game mode, which is something that I've been talking about for months about Diablo Immortal implementing into their build. So yeah, that was it. But yeah, I hope that my channel does well with it. I've been making videos now for a year and a half on Diablo Immortal, and I anticipate making videos for 2 years before the game is actually out globally. So yeah, I hope that it works out and that I didn't just waste my time. Either way, there's a few things that have happened. I've ran into my favorite game of all time. Not only my favorite mobile game, but literally my favorite game of all time. I've got to work with a community of people that are incredible. I've expanded out. Like I was friends with the almost the entire Supercell community, which was awesome. Now I also have these connections with the Blizzard community, which is incredible, and I'm just happy to be able to better myself, even if nothing happens with the channel. But of course, I hope that it does, especially because my main channel is not doing as well. I hope that this one can start picking up where the other one left off. And Nemo the same, right? Nemo, you're hoping for your channel to do well with Diablo Immortal, or else, why would you be doing it, right?
Oh yeah, I agree. I was covering multiple games. I switched from Clash and a bunch of other ways. I've always loved Diablo. I actually made Diablo videos like way before when I was making Clash videos. So I focus specifically on Immortal actually. Once Immortal came out, or once I started looking at it and saw that it's coming to a mobile game, I said, "There's no way I'm going to be covering anything else." I fell in love with it, and then when I played it, it was over. Like
Yeah.
Once I played Immortal, like before, I thought myself, I'll cover it, see what happens or whatever. As soon as I got my hands on technical alpha and I started playing it, within the first, even before that, like when they were talking and they showed us a little bit of the gameplay, like before everybody else, and I was looking at it, like I fell in love with it right there. When I got it in my hands, I heard what you said, that it's an amazing game, but you can never really take someone's word 100% because it could have been different for me. I was really worried about the mobile controls. Like I was, because I hate playing on mobile on the screen controls, and Immortal changed my life. Like I fell in love with the game. I fell in love with mobile screen controls. I'm completely in 100% head over heels for the game. I'm not even saying it for any other reason. I love Diablo, and then it's coming to a mobile device. I mean, are you serious? And it's an amazing game. So when I played it, as soon as I played it, I said to myself, I'm not going to be covering anything else on the channel. So I specifically said I'm focusing 100% on Immortal, and that's what Academy is going to be. I actually started a second channel for my fun games like Valheim and stuff like that. But this is going to be Immortal only, so I'm 100% with you. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, see what happens. But again, I'm just having fun and making content. I'm glad that even one person is watching it, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, but you have more than one viewer, man. Let's be real. Okay, we have a bunch of questions that came through on YouTube that I want to address. So we have Shitama saying, hopefully more countries are going to get it, going to get the game once the next testing comes out. And part of the testing is not only going to be testing new game modes, but I think they're going to begin stress testing the system to see how does the system handle having all of these people in it. Can it stand it? So I think we're going to be getting it expanding more. The best way to be part of that is to be lucky enough to be registered in the region that they decide to expand into. So pre-register yourself. And if you are on iOS like me and you want to pre-register for the game, but you can't, I suggest you pre-register in the Google Play Store anyway. And if you can't even do that because you don't have any type of Google anything, which I don't have a platform, but you could do it on the computer, do it on BlueStacks, because then you could at least pre-register that. You just want to be pre-registered somewhere. All right. So we had Smallville attending his first ever Immortal podcast. Welcome. We're happy to have you. I'm excited for you to be here with us and be one with the show. But with that being said, this show is actually being, what I do is I make it go live to YouTube and to Twitch. But then later on, after it processes through YouTube in a few hours, it will go on the channel as a video. And you guys could check it out there as well in case you missed anything. Now we have Fed saying, is leveling up easy in Diablo Immortal? And my video dropping tomorrow talks about efficiency with leveling, the best ways to get the most XP. And someone else said, is the game easy as well? So first of all, when you're playing the game the first time through, my whole demon class, my demon hunter class, I was learning the game. I didn't upgrade my gear, Nemo. I didn't gem my gear. I just kind of went through, because I didn't even know about it yet. This is like 20 hours, 25 hours of gameplay. I didn't know anything. I just kind of threw my demon hunter in there and I was learning the game. Then, oh, look at this. That's from my old stream. We don't want to look at me. Let's get back to gameplay. Sorry, guys. That's what happens when you record streams. You never know when what's gonna pop up on the screen. But there we go. Cheers anyway. Still drinking out of the same mug. But I lost track of what I was saying. What was I saying, Nemo?
You're talking about upgrade efficiency. It's like 24 hours into the game.
Right. So you're going to play through with a class and you're going to learn the game. Now, Nemo and I and others from the content creation community, we're here to kind of give you a head start, to give you information so that when you are in there, you know more than we knew. But you could only take that so far, right? You are not going to be an expert at Diablo Immortal until you spend 50 hours in Diablo Immortal. And then, I mean, I spent 80 to 100 hours in it, and I still don't know everything. I don't know a lot about the end game. I don't know a lot about Paragon and that stuff, but I know a lot about what I experienced, which is all the classes, utilizing their skills, ways to upgrade most quickly. So in the beginning, when you play through on normal, the game's not incredibly hard, no. And that's what I mostly played through in all of my streams. So people would say this game looks easy and the bosses don't look so hard. And you know what? They weren't incredibly hard when you play it on easy. But as soon as you max your character and you go into the next difficulty mode, it is so much harder. It doesn't matter if you Paragon, if you start getting your gear, it gets so much harder as you progress through the game. And I'll find myself dying over and over and over again. And I think that's good because you can't have a game be too difficult in the beginning where it scares people away. Like if you jump into a game and it's too hard, like there's a balance. It has to be hard enough so it's not walkover easy, entertaining enough to keep your entertainment, to keep your interest. And if it's too hard, you're going to say, screw it, I'm not playing this game. It's just, I can't get past this boss. I'm done. You don't want, as a developer, as a game, you don't want people to put it down because of their frustration and not pick it up again. You don't want to give them the option. So, you know, I think the first playthrough being easier is a right call. It's going to make people fall in love with the game. It's still exciting and fun, and it's the learning phase. And Nemo, do you have anything to add? Anything that you agree or disagree with on that?
Sure. I actually, so there's three difficulties, right, that we saw in the game. There was regular, there was Hell 1 and Hell 2. Hell 1 is the upgraded regular, just more difficult is what you're talking about. And then Hell 2 was actually designed for like group play. The interesting part about this, remember when you guys were watching us play, this was an edited sort of thing. We got it from 0 to 45, so the difficulties were actually adjusted. They were all changed because we were not at the end of the game. So realistically, the best way to judge difficulty levels will be when we actually get to level 60 and we're able to play fully. That's when we'll know how difficult regular is and how difficult Hell 1 is. And Hell 2 was actually broken at this point. They didn't set it up right. I guess they didn't realize anybody was going to play, or maybe didn't have enough players. The point is, Hell 2 needs to be adjusted still. So the regular difficulty and the Hell 1, which, like you said, Hell 1 is a lot more difficult. I think that it's going to change when we get to the end game and we actually get to experience the game fully. But I do agree with you. There should be different flavors, and you can play the game to the way you want. It is just like Diablo, right? All the Diablo games are in general the same. You can play it on regular, or you can turn it up to Torment 16 in D3 and play at the max difficulty if you wanted to. So that's what kind of flavor you're into, man. I like all the difficulties. Although Hell 2 was kind of not fun, to be honest with you. I mean, we played it together. Remember that?
I do remember. And something I'll tell you is Nemo, he has a different flavor of the week all the time. This man does not just sit back and he's not just happy with something. He always wants something new. He's a bit of a dirty dog himself, but that's off topic. We have Stuart Smith in the chat right now, and he's asking, or he actually brought up Warhammer Odyssey is out for global soft launch on mobile. Now, very interesting you bring that up, because I did download Warhammer Odyssey and I tried it. And it's a really good looking game, but this is something I talked about Diablo Immortal, how I'm telling you guys about this game. I'm saying it's the best. It feels awesome. You don't actually know until you feel it. And when I went into Warhammer Odyssey, I said, oh, this is a cool looking game. It looks good. But when I felt it, the controls felt like butt cheeks. They did not feel good at all. I did not have, and now I am comparing it to Diablo Immortal, really, right? Because that's the thing. That's probably the action RPG I've spent the most time on is Diablo Immortal. I felt like I didn't have control. You know when you get in a car, if you've driven and you have a wheel that's just so loose and you turn the wheel and it doesn't turn right? It felt like that. It was very loose and sloppy controls. So much so that I played for 10 minutes and I turned to, and I deleted the game and I didn't play it anymore after that. So should I have given it more of a chance? Probably. I should have probably given a little bit more of a chance to put out a video comparing it to Diablo Immortal, but I just legitimately didn't understand. I didn't enjoy my time in the game. Nemo, I assume you didn't download that one since you've been playing Valheim, right?
Oh, no. Although I do have Warhammer on my Xbox, but no, I have not played it. Valheim all day here. That's all I've been playing.
I know, Valheim
and
all
sleeping.
day.
And eating, maybe.
Maybe
but
eating.
We have some questions in here that that maybe we can answer. Do we have a second?
Yeah. I was actually just reading through some of the questions, so take it away, Nemo. What do we got?
So John Wright's asking, if you buy the battle pass, do you get to complete it on each character, or is it shared progression? Do you know that, Echo?
I do know the answer to that, of course, Nemo, and this is great. This is everyone, you got your haters out there that say Diablo Immortal, it's pay to win, and I'm going to actually transition to gameplay because this is a cool cutscene. It's pay to win, blah, blah, blah. This is an example as to why Blizzard is doing right by the community, okay? I first thought the same thing. I said, oh, Battle Pass is great. Let's assume it's $5 a month because it's going to be on a month, a 30-day cycle. If it's $5 a month, that's cool. But what if you have 6 characters? What if you have every single character in the game? Do you have to pay $5 for every single character? Because that would suck. That would suck, especially if you decide that you want, because once you get the paid track, it's hard to not have it because all the rewards that you get, the skins that we're going to get from it, they're awesome. Who wants to miss out on that stuff? But we were told by Wyatt, by everyone over there at Blizzard, that if you buy the Battle Pass, it is good for your entire account. You can use it on any class that you make, any characters that you build on that account. So $5 and you can have, I don't even know how many characters you can have, but let's say you use every single character. Your Battle Pass will work on all of your characters for the month's time for however much it costs. I'm assuming $5. It could be 10. It could be 15. I'm assuming 5 because Clash of Clans has a $5 1 month cycle. Brawl Stars has a 2.5 month cycle and it's about $15. So I'm assuming it's 5. It could be more. I wouldn't mind honestly if it were $10 per month. I think it would still be a good deal for what you're getting, especially because they mentioned they're going to be bringing skins and stuff to it and cosmetics. So that's really nice. And by the way, we've had Clash Bashing in here. And he is a massive content creator for Clash of Clans, one of the largest mobile games of all time. Could one of my mods give a little shout out here for Clash Bashing over here on Twitch? Great friend of mine, long-term friend. One of my first friends I've ever made on YouTube when I started 5 years ago. So thanks for coming through, buddy. I appreciate you.
Bash is very cool. Hi, Bash.
Bash is very cool.
We have another question.
That couldn't have been like more business. Bash is very cool.
All right. What's up, Bash? How's it going, man? I miss you, buddy.
There you
I'll
go.
give you a hug.
There you go.
A COVID-free hug right now.
That's how it. Oh, by the way, I'm getting my vaccine today. I'm getting the Johnson and Johnson vaccine today. So no one knows this, but I have a very bad immune system. I have a condition that really wrecks my immune system. So I'm anticipating being out of commission for like 5 days. I don't know how this is going to hit me. I know people have been getting sick, but hopefully I don't. But we'll see. Vaccine today. I'm excited about Johnson & Johnson. Do you think that the standard of mobile controls has to change after Immortal? And hi, this is from MFPF. He's a regular on my YouTube channel. He's a mod in my Discord server, and he has his own YouTube channel for Diablo Immortal, all in Spanish. I would tell you it's amazing, but I don't understand a word of what he says. But he is consistent, and he has been for a year and a half. So if you understand Spanish, go check out his channel. Great guy. Do I think that the quality of controls have to be increased? Now, there are a lot of games that have great controls on mobile. For example, PUBG Mobile, amazing. Call of Duty Mobile, amazing. Games like Clash of Clans and stuff, there's no virtual joystick, so you really can't compare. That's more of a tapping game. Brawl Stars, really simple, but really clean controls. A lot of games do it well. I feel like some of these games that are pushed out quick, that are just like being dropped out to get something out quickly, those are the ones that struggle because as we were talking with Julian in the interviews that you guys saw, I did 9 interview videos. He said that mobile controls were maybe one of the hardest parts of the development because you have to make them perfect. It's something that you're always refining and always changing just because, well, it has to be perfect. It has to feel good for the gamer themselves. So I think that mobile controls, are they setting a standard? I don't know if other game companies are going to look at Diablo Immortal and say, oh, we better step up our control game. Because honestly, Immortal didn't make any groundbreaking changes to the controls. They went with a common, known pattern of controls, and they just made it better. They didn't completely rework the system, which is part of the reason why I love it. Because it's like getting an Xbox game, and then for every single Xbox game that you get, it comes with a brand new custom controller. Like, you have to relearn it every time, and it's nice to go with something that people know, and then just tweak it for your own system. Actually, a game that I really like the mobile controls on, and I don't know if you played this, Nemo, was Black Desert Mobile. There was a one mechanic that I loved, and it was with your supers that surrounded the attack bar, or your ultimates or your abilities. You had your row of 3 or 4, and then you could swipe them, and you could get 3 or 4 more. I thought that was a really cool feature, so you could actually customize either 6 or 8 supers rather than just 3 or 4. So really cool mechanic there. It's not in Diablo Immortal. Not that it couldn't be added, but I don't know that it's needed either, because it's nice to have builds in Diablo Immortal and not just to carry all your abilities in your back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. You know what I love about the Immortal controls? You make a good point. They're not revolutionary, but what they are, they're perfect. Because I mentioned I don't like mobile controls. I jumped on the game. I did not take any, like, I didn't have to learn them. I didn't have to look at them. Like, I looked at them at first, said, okay, this is here, that's here, and that's it. And from then on, I didn't even know they were there. Like it was so smooth that it became part of my fingers. And they never bothered me. I never had to learn anything. They were just in the right place at the right time. Never in front of anything, always when I needed them. And I just forgot about them. I jumped, put my hands on the phone, and I started playing it. That's it. That's what I love about it. This is why I feel like I fell in love with this, because with the other games, like I play with Raziel, there's a couple of annoying buttons and you gotta like move your finger over and then always look for that button and I can't find it.
Yeah.
Or I played this other game, like I couldn't even, I had to go and figure out, you use a swiping and moving, and it was really confusing a little bit for me. This is perfect. This is why I like it.
Yeah. By the way, Mike in the chat's asking if we talked about beta. We did discuss that a little bit in our predictions earlier in the show. Reminder to everyone that's watching that this is live right now, but it will be a few hours after the show ends. It will be a video on my YouTube channel, Echo Gaming Diablo. If you're not watching it here and you're on Twitch, that's where it'll be. So, yeah, that's where it'll be if you missed anything. Because I don't want to keep going over the same stuff for everyone that's been here the whole time. There was a question that I had. Yeah. What was this? What was your question? Why don't you grab yours? Because I lost mine.
Void is asking a good question. He said, how often do you guys think they will be adding content to Diablo Immortal once it gets released? What do you think, Echo?
I believe it was said regularly. I believe that those words, and this is, I don't have an actual clip of it. I can't 100% say it, but I believe that I recall them saying, someone saying from Blizzard, they're going to have regular content updates that are always going to be free. Characters, levels, dungeons, all that kind of stuff. From talking with Blizzard, I mean, they've said many times they don't want this to go out to thousands of people. They want this to be going out to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. I forget the number there. Was it hundreds of millions, Nemo? Is that what they said? Hundreds of millions of people they want to play Diablo Immortal. Am I quoting that right? We lost your microphone, buddy. Hundreds of millions of people. That's okay. Hundreds of millions of people, I think it was said, right?
It was Wyatt that said it too.
Yeah, so that's the whole idea between the free-to-play model. Because if the game costs $5, the amount of people that are going to actually play it is going to be a fraction of what will play it if it's free. So that's the whole idea behind the free-to-play model. How many times have you played a game because it was free? Like Destiny 2 or like Fortnite. You play it because, oh, let me just try it. It's free. We'll just mess with it. And some of them will suck you in and you will play them forever. And some of them you'll say, oh, I don't really like it. It's not for me. And you'll dump it. You can't do that with a game that's not free. I love the free-to-play model. I personally think that games in general, overall, are going to go that route. You know, that may not be a popular opinion, but I do think that that's what's going to be happening.
100%. I was a
phys ed and a health teacher for kindergarten through 12th grade. So for 15 years. All right. We had a question about the battle pass again. Okay, so it's Ice Cold asks, question: if the battle pass is account bound, then how about the legendary item at the end? Will it be the same for everyone, or will it be actually bound to a single character? Obviously, the weapons, and there are legendary weapons. Actually, there's a legendary weapon at the 10th slot of the free battle pass. You can't get weapons by paying anywhere in the game. So legendary weapons are not going to be attainable except for playing. So anyone that has the battle pass, even the free battle pass, will get, at least as the technical alpha stood, at the 10th notch along the battle pass, you will get a legendary weapon. That weapon is different depending on what class you have. So if you get the battle pass and you're getting it for all 6 of the classes and you paid for it once, you're getting it for all 6 classes, that battle pass will be specific to the character class that you're doing, which makes it a little bit harder for Blizzard when you think about it, Nemo, because they're not making 1 battle pass, they're making 6 battle passes, and now it's small customizations. It's really just going to be, the gems will be the same, the shards and things will be the same, the crests will be the same. It's just the gear and the skins is going to have to be customized based on the character classes. So it's a little bit more work, and every time they implement a new character to the game, it's going to be more work as well. They're going to have to, so if they eventually have 20 characters in the game, they're going to have 20 different battle passes. So they need to be careful with that too. They don't want to oversaturate, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a kind of a cool system. So the free pass on top gave you the weapon, and you had a choice. So when you logged on, like, and you reached it, it said, "Hey, you got to this pass. You have a choice of these legendary weapons. Pick one." And if you've
Right.
seen Diablo Immortal, those legendaries give you specials, and they alter specific specials that you have. So like, I sat on that screen for, I don't know, 20 minutes thinking like, "Ooh, I don't know which one do I want," because certain ones gave you certain, like, they played with some of the specials and abilities that you're using. It's a really tough choice. And that was on the free route, by the way. Just one thing to remember, the paid route will have the cosmetics. So if you pay for it, you'll get the cosmetics. If you don't pay for it, you'll still get the gear. Everyone gets the gear. You can't pay for the gear like you mentioned.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. I did a video, I don't know, a month and a half ago comparing the top battle pass with the bottom and broke down the value of the top and the bottom. Now, worth noting, the bottom had a bunch of question marks. And from the interviews that we just heard, those question marks, well, they were question marks because they weren't sure what they wanted to put there, but it looks like they're going to be putting cosmetics, skins, and customization things in those slots, which they obviously haven't had created yet at that point. And the top free tier was just about equal with what you get from the bottom paid tier in the technical alpha. So as it stood, and you didn't get an extra legendary weapon, by the way, down below, or legendary gems. Did you get legendary gems from the paid tier? I don't remember. You may have. I don't recall. Either way, it was even. So if you were to have bought the battle pass, you would have basically gotten like double the rewards. But that wasn't including the question mark slots, which are going to be cosmetics, skins, whatever they decide to put in there. Obviously, it's not going to be anything related to weapons or power because that would be that pay to win mechanic that they do not want to have, at least with the battle pass. So, yeah, I thought the battle pass was great. I love the idea of customization, especially if there's war. I want to see myself up on a pedestal, being the number one in the war, dealing the most damage, slaying the most enemies with my gear, repping the gear, because they're gonna have custom Echo gear inside Diablo Immortal, right, Nemo?
Oh, nice. A custom. I would love that. You get me some Echo Hammer so I can spin it to win with my Barbarian.
You know it.
I would love that.
Hmm.
By the way,
Just
one
joking,
thing
by
you
the way,
mentioned,
guys. Before we go on too far,
that would be kind of
there's no
funny
Echo
though.
gear in
I'm
the
like,
game.
one thing you mentioned, the battle pass, the free route. When we saw the last thing on the free route of the battle pass was the power and command gem. You do get gems, legendary gems on the free
Okay,
route of the battle pass, and that was the best. That was one of the best gems you can get.
right.
You
And
got that.
the cool thing about that is that was on the free pass, but not only that, it makes you as a free player putting the best gem on the free pass. It's going to make you want to grind the heck out of that game. You're not going to want to let that. You want in your 30 days, you want to capture that. You don't want to let that thing go. So there's a lot of ways for you to get. I mean, from we were just watching on the screen a few moments ago, the daily login rewards. They give you a
Mhm.
legendary weapon. They give you gems. The battle pass, the free version of the battle pass is going to give you that stuff. So, and someone asked about the drop rate here in the chat. I felt that every time I was logging on, I was getting legendary items. Now, I was not a diehard Diablo 3 player, so I don't know what it felt like to play all the time and what the drop rate was like in the game. But I will tell you, by the time I was done with getting a character to level 45, I pretty much had most of my gear as legendary gear. So that's about through 20 hours of gameplay or so. I was able to find enough gear to legendary out my character, and I never felt like I was missing it. Right? I never felt like I didn't have enough. And many of those things, I would have gotten like multiple different helmets, and I'd just trade some in because I'd choose the one that I liked, and I would get rid of the rest. So I never felt that we were going short on legendary items, that they were being cheap on them. I think that it was good. How about you?
I felt like it was done right. So I do feel like they actually were not
Oh,
with the legendaries. They didn't drop all the time for me. But we did play a lot. That's the thing, though. A lot of people don't like. A lot of people can't. They're underestimating how much we played. As soon as we got this game, we didn't sleep, we didn't eat, we just played nonstop all day long. Uh, but as far as the legendary goes, I feel like they're game changing. So when they do drop, it is really exciting and it's really awesome. It's not like at D3 when just things just drop all day long and it feels irrelevant, you know?
hmm.
So as far as the drop rates go, I feel like they're done right. The drop rates on the gems are a little different. I actually did ask that question. The legendary drop rates and the gems, they are in tiers. Wyatt did confirm that. So there are certain gems that are like a lot less of a drop rate than the others because they're in a higher tier. Like the power and command gem that
Hmm.
we were talking about, that gem allows you, basically gives you more channeling skills. Somebody asked, and I think Fed asked in the chat, he said, does the game have mana? It's a bit different. Some characters, specific ones, have like these channeling skills. Like for the barbarian, when you're doing this, the whirlwind, when you're spinning, you have a channeling skill that's going down and down and
Right.
down. This power and command gem allows you to regenerate that skill faster, making you spin to win more, so or spin more, or do other channeling things in other classes. So those gems are super high important, and they don't drop very much. There's other gems that drop all the time, like the mocking laughter gem. I know a lot of people have talked about this, even Wyatt mentioned it, right? Mocking laughter gem, in my opinion, is like one of the lowest gems. It's a very situational gem. What it does is it basically attracts everybody to you. If you were in the mocking laughter gem, you're taunting everybody, and all the enemies are aggroing to you. So it would make sense if you were like a tank, right? But it would not make sense in any other situation.
No,
But that gem was super low. I had 5 of those. How many of those did you get, Echo?
it's
Mocking laughters.
it's funny because everyone was talking about how they have so much. I was lucky. I did not get a ton of the mocking laughter. I was actually pretty lucky when I was using my legendary crests on getting gems that I wanted. So I did not have a bunch of mocking laughter. I must have had
You are
the
lucky.
mind you, the scene we're looking at right now on the screen is my favorite spot inside of all of Diablo Immortal. I just love this bridge. I love the water effects, the glistening of it. I don't know why. It's just, and this is on my 3-year-old iPad, by the way. The what was it called? The frame rate boost was not on there. I think it looks amazing. So that's why I was just standing there on the bridge for a little bit. But my favorite spot in the game. We've had a ton of questions today, with more coming in. I feel like we may be missing some of them. So I'm sorry if we
Yeah.
are. Do you have
Sorry
other
about
ones,
that.
Nemo?
Yeah. Tag me when you're when you
Yeah.
want them answered.
I
There
do.
was a lot of other ones.
I do love
Go ahead.
how Diablo Immortal is doing that customization that you were just talking about, Nemo. Like you really, it's totally different than how it's done in D3. There's no sets, there's nothing like that. It's just you pick it up and you kind of build your own. I love it. I love it more than any other system that we've used before. You can really, I mean, I don't know what the build count is. How many actual, if you were to max out your barbarian, get all the skills, you had all the
Uh-huh.
gear, how many different builds you can make. It has to be thousands of hundreds of thousands of different builds that you can make. The customization is incredible just because there's so many skills, there's so many gems, there's so much gear, there's so many different, it's just so much that you could actually do. You could really make custom builds. And obviously there are going to be builds that are going to rise to the top, and those are ones that Nemo and I are going to be sharing with you. We're going to build something like, oh my god, this is incredible, here's how you build it, this is what you need to get. There's going to be favorite builds, of course, as there are in all Diablo games, but I don't know. And as far as Smallville says, how large can a clan be? They're actually guilds or alliances. I forget which they're called. 150 people per guild, which means these guild wars that we're asking for should be able to hold up to 300 people, 150 versus 150, dropping in on one side of Billifin, each storming their way to each other. Echo leading the way in my Echo gear with my Echo group behind me, and we are going to crush whoever's on the other side. Actually, we'll probably get smoked, but either
No
way,
way.
you don't think so, Nemo? He has confidence.
No way. I'm gonna be there with my wizard. Oh man, you just wait. You just wait.
Oh, by the way,
It's on.
speaking of Wizard, we had Dread Scythe ask you a question about the Wizard on
You did?
Twitch.
Oh, I missed
Yeah,
it.
it was for you specifically. You should really
Oh,
pay more attention to the Diablo community, my
I
friend.
know. I know.
You're not
I'm over
making
here
any
thinking
friends
about
here.
Valheim.
He
You know,
said
Dread.
he said something, and I can't find it, but he mentioned
Oh,
something
I have
about,
it. I
yeah.
have it.
How did you feel about the Wizard class, and then the changes that they mentioned during the interviews?
Yeah, in the Gamer Hub interview. Yeah,
Right, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So here's the thing, right? The wizard class is a very interesting class. It's very unique. To just quickly echo back on what you said about the classes, they're so very unique. You have a lot of envy, in my opinion. Like they're how can I put this? They're very different, but they have a lot of synergy in between them. So, like for example, when you're playing with the barbarian, you're looking at the wizard, and you're like, man, look at the wizard. It's like awesome. Look at the lightning novas and the teleporting, and look at all the stuff that you can do. And then you look at the barbarian, you're like, oh my god, I love the barbarian.
Yeah.
He can sprint, and he has these special abilities that the wizard doesn't. So when you're playing with each class, you're almost like, you're envious of the other class, and that's really important because that makes you want to play with the other classes as well. I was playing with Barbarian. I was looking at the wizard. Somebody, I believe it was SVR. I was playing with it, and he threw like a special, and I was like, "Wow, this looks freaking awesome!" So I started playing with the wizard,
Hmm.
and then I'm like, "Man, I like the wizard more than the Barbarian." Well, don't shoot. Uh, so in my opinion, like they have a lot of synergy and they have a lot of like cool legendary gears that change things. Going back to what you said about the classes, right? There's certain legendary items that will play with your specials, and then if you stack them on top of each other, they change things. So like there's so many different ones. Like for the barbarian, right? We looked at the I could throw two spirits of the ancient with the two
Yeah.
golden guys that came
I
down,
never got
right?
that, man. I only had one. And that was my favorite class,
Yeah.
and I still never got that build. I was jealous.
Davin's Legacy. Davin's Legacy. That is the chess piece that you want. It's going to allow you to make two of the ancient. You can basically stack them, and then you had another ability which is turned them into a golden guardian. That was the hammer of the ancient turned into a spirit of the ancient, and then you could stack it twice with the Davin's Legacy chess piece. That was awesome. I loved it. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of excitement going on between them. And think about this. They said that anything is on the table. They can bring any class. They can bring all the classes from Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and they can make new classes. So there's going to be regular updates with a whole bunch of stuff. But one thing they mentioned, they're not going to just spam classes. It's just Julian Love, who is basically the combat designer for Diablo Immortal. He's the lead combat designer. He's like one of Wyatt's guys. And um, he mentioned that when they're going to be bringing the classes, the biggest, most important thing to them is the synergy between them. It's to make sure that these classes have a place in there. They're not just going to bring them just because it looks different. All the classes are going to be very different and have these unique things in them, right? So going back to the wizard, I didn't forget about you, Dread. I like the changes. I thought the wizard needed a little bit of that. It's very difficult to play with the wizard at first. Like some people are complaining, saying it's too easy with some of the characters. Good luck playing with the wizard. It was frustrating. I died many times. Like level 18 through like 26 was hell to get through. But once I got through it, the wizard opened up and he's like one of the most OP classes. I'm not sure if I'm going to play anything else. So, long story short, Dread, I do like the changes to the wizard. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to affect things. I feel like it needed to get balanced a little bit at the bottom end of the spectrum just to make it a little bit easier. Because I feel like a lot of people are probably like, I mean, maybe not, but I feel like they might even give up a little bit on the wizard because it's a little too difficult at first.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like I never got myself to that point where my wizard was incredible, and that's probably it's the one class I didn't max. I got close to it, but I didn't max it out. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, all the classes are incredible. All the classes have their highlights and things that they do best. And when you're investing yourself into a game that you're gonna be playing for a long time, I'm gonna get tired of playing the barbarian after 6 months. I'm gonna want to play something else. I'll probably want to play something very different. So I'll probably go to some type of a ranged class. And having the ability to do that. And I love what you just said. How Blizzard's not just gonna make classes that look different. They're gonna have functional reasons for being inside of the game. We don't have any healers inside of the game, Nemo, do we? Actually, the monk, some of them have a skill that can heal the group, but there's no dedicated healer. And if we're talking about war in PvP, I could see that be game changing. Having a row of healer classes behind you that they not like monks that can beat the crap out of people, but they have that healing ability too. But like just straight up healers that are very dainty, very weak, but they will be able to revitalize your team. I don't know. That sounds cool.
And on top of that, right, you need certain gear that could affect your healing and things like that, right? You have these
Right.
legendaries that you need that could totally change things and throw because they can stack on top of each other. So your healer can have so much depth, or your tank can have so much depth with those ancients. And like you said, you played a certain class, but all of
Uh-huh.
a sudden you're throwing in and you found this legendary piece that turns your ancient of hammer into two. You're like, I'm gonna play that. That's gonna sound awesome to see what I can do with two of them versus one. It like changes things, keeps things interesting. I love that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, they're doing it right now. Mike had a question about voice chat, and now I'll be honest, Nemo, it's not something that I tested very much, but Diablo Immortal has many different types of chat. You can chat direct. You could literally click on a character in the game and send them a direct message, friend or not. You could do one-on-one chat. You could do server chat. You could do world chat. You could do text to chat. You could do chat to text, I meant. So you could like talk into your phone and then it'll message them. You could also do voice chat inside of the game. Now, for me, when I played, we were all on my Discord server. Mind you, if you guys want to come through my Diablo Immortal Discord server, it's linked down below. Nemo has a server as well. I did not link Nemo's server, but his YouTube channel is linked in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube. So make sure you go check him out as well, mind you. But we would always talk on Discord. I just like that. I mean, I'm in front of my thing here, my computer. If I was sitting on my couch upstairs, I would probably be using the voice chat. If I was in my car waiting for my son to get out of soccer or baseball, I'd probably be on the voice chat there. But when I'm sitting here, I'm going to use Discord. Do you have any experience with the voice chat there, Nemo? How clean it was? How good did it work? I'm interested myself, actually.
Yeah, actually, I was very impressed with this whole feature of the voice chat in game. So I started testing it. One of the first things I tested, actually, it's really smooth. I was surprised. I never even seen that. Is it like so? If you guys know, if you played World of Warcraft or Diablo or a lot of other PC type games, right? When you're in chat, there's a bunch of different zone. Like you got zone chat, you have world chat,
Right.
and you have like your guild chat, then you have like maybe friend chat. So you can basically mute those, get rid of those. So they just have like tabs that you could look through with the different chats. So you could just go to your group and just chat. So I was just chatting with Echo. All of a sudden, I saw a bunch of content creators on the global talking about something. So I jumped on and did that, which was cool. And then you can talk with them. But what was really cool is like you could do all the voice and the text, and like you said, directly message somebody or directly message the group. But you could send voice notes. Like that was the most amazing thing. It's like WhatsApp. I don't know if any of you guys have WhatsApp, right? Uh,
I do.
Texting, like talking is okay, yeah, but it takes a lot of time. So we went to texting, and texting was cool, but then that takes a lot of time too because you got to type that stuff out. Voice notes is like it's my sliced bread. Okay, I love it. You hit the button, you talk a bunch, you let it go. It's like the old school Nextels. If anybody is like prehistoric here and remembers Nextels, but they had the walkie-talkie function, the best ever. And this has exactly that. It has that function where you can send a voice note and then somebody can play it when they want. So it's like it's perfect. And the way they balanced it out too, it's really smooth. It works really well, and I'm very impressed. That's my opinion.
Who in the chat actually had a Nextel? Because I remember having a Nextel. I got it because I wanted to be one of those cool guys that just had a Nextel, but really the most annoying phones ever because it was always on speakerphone. You're always hearing
Yep.
people's conversations and they think they were so cool because they had a Nextel. The phones were cool. That was the cool thing. You could even like pop out the cases and like really like mod
Yep.
them, and that was cool. But man, that voice feature was just awful. Now the phone that I always wanted, now we're off track, I'm sorry, but this is important. The phone I always wanted, never had, was I believe it was T-Mobile Sidekick, where you flick the screen and
Oh,
the screen pops out
yeah.
and you have like a controller
Yeah.
like phone. All I wanted to do was sit on my instant messenger and have that. Remember instant messenger? That was like the chat method. Man, we're dating ourselves for sure, but if you don't know that, you just are not in the club. If you don't understand what I'm talking about right now, you need to do your research. Best place for research of anything would be Wikipedia and figure it out what a sidekick is. Whoa, we
Dude,
got a member coming through. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Boyd, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Boyd.
Just not the subject off a little bit here, but that's funny. I had a knockoff of the Sidekick because I couldn't afford the Sidekick, so I had one of them LG knockoff that did the flip
Yeah,
too.
I remember
So
that.
it
It
looked
wasn't
just
the
as
same.
cool. It
Yeah.
wasn't, but I could still flip it. I could still look a little cool. The ladies appreciated it when I flipped my LG fake
Hmm.
phone.
Now
But
listen, a tip on Nextel. I only broke one phone in my life because I was angry, and it was my Nextel because I went to Sprint to get the Nextel, which where I lived, which was Long Island, New York. Sprint did not work. It was the worst service ever, and I've been dealing with it for months of horrible. And I took the phone and I slammed it on my steering wheel, cracked the screen. I actually ended my contract 6 months early and paid the penalty price because I just couldn't even use it because the service was so bad. And I went back to Verizon. I've been Verizon ever since. And I went to Verizon and I got a BlackBerry. Tell me, Nemo, you had a BlackBerry because you were a
oh,
classy G if you had a BlackBerry back in the day.
bro, I had my I was administering BlackBerry enterprise servers. I had best servers set up. If
Yes.
anybody's a tech guru and knows what that is, absolutely, I love BlackBerry.
Yeah, I used to play poker on my BlackBerry all the time on the way to the city. But
Love the keyboard, and it was all so fun.
back to Diablo Immortal. Nemo, you keep taking us off track. If this continues,
Sorry.
I may have to look for a new co-host of the show.
Oh man, I'm getting kicked already. Look at this.
Watch out, man. The game should at least come out before I kick you off the show. All right. So
Okay, sounds good.
all right. So we're getting close to our very end of the show. I want to remind you all that if you missed something in the beginning, if there's something that you didn't have answered, well, it's going to be as a video so you can watch it. But if there's anything that you didn't have answered, come through the Discord or leave it in the comments. I will give you guys a little heads up here. Tomorrow's video on my channel is 100% answering a question from the chat. It was a 5-part question. I took that question, gave credit to the person who asked it, and that is the reason for tomorrow's video. So that could be you. I always look at the chat, even if I don't respond to everything, both on Discord and on YouTube. And it inspires a lot of my content, especially because right now I have to get a little creative. Let's be honest. I don't have the game. I can't give you tutorials and guides. So, you know, my thinking juices are going. Nemo, anything that we missed before we say bye?
I think we pretty much, there was a lot of questions. I want to thank everybody for coming by and firing a whole bunch of questions. I thought this was great. So I think we pretty much answered all of them. I'm really excited. I'm hoping that the next, I'm hoping the next podcast we have beta. Come on, cross your fingers. Let's let's do the dance, whatever we got to do to make it happen.
I agree. By the way, I think we should bring a guest on next podcast. Even if we get no more information, I think that it would be fun to bring someone on. Maybe okay. I don't even know who, but let's think of who we can bring from the community. Maybe you guys could let us know in the comments or in the chat who you'd like to see, and we bring them back, either back on or on for the first time, just to kind of spitball Diablo Immortal. There was one question I wanted to give a little bit of love to here. It's Matness, who is one of my biggest supporters on all of my channels. No matter what I do, this man is there to support. He says, out of the 2 classes remaining, which is the Crusader and Necro, which one do I think will be stronger? And I think it's hard to say stronger, because they're 2 completely different classes. You have a summoning class, which you could consider a ranged class, really, and you have most people are going to build a Crusader as a melee class or a beat 'em down class. Am I right there, Nemo? That's most likely what we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, we don't 100% know exactly what, but from the days of the Diablo 3 Crusader, a Crusader is a mixed class that can do some casting, but it does melee as well. It's both, but yeah, it's melee mostly.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it depends on what you like. If you're a Bard player, you're most likely going to like the Crusader more. If you're a Wizard or a Demon Hunter, you're probably going to like the Necro more. Yeah, so it's really up to what you like. By the way, we got Immortal Ariel. She says gangster, Blackberry gangster right there.
Yeah, it is. So, it is.
But Nemo, we've come to the end of the podcast. I want to thank everyone who came through. We really had some amazing questions. As you can see, you guys fuel the show. So thank you guys so much for that. Appreciate all of you coming through. And Nemo and I are going to be back in 2 weeks with another episode. And we'll probably have a guest that time. We haven't tried to get a guest in the last few episodes because, well, I don't know why we haven't. We just didn't. We don't have to. We can hold down the show ourselves. But sometimes a guest is fun. Hopefully we get something brand new before that. And if not, we'll see you in 2 weeks. If so, we'll have an emergency episode. This is episode 10 of the Immortal Podcast. Nemo, it's in the books. Last things you want to say before we head out?
Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast being here. I always have fun. The Immortal Podcast. Can't wait to the next episode. Hopefully, we got the game with us.
Hope so. Let's see. That will be amazing. Back on Twitch streaming every day. If we do, have a great day, guys. Immortal Podcast 10 in the books. Be good.